can see your screen. It's like a Google. Is this from like an actual video?
Yeah, man. It's an actual video that people have to see, and I'll just play it. Just a moments of silence. It's 15 seconds. My God. What is this? All right, everybody. Welcome to this amazing stream, Twitch, fucking everything all at once.
What are you doing?
I have a special guest here. One and
It's
only.
not a special guest at this point, man. It's like every 2 days.
A special guest that's always here. All good. All good. That was the most random thing ever. I think that was the most random.
What was that video?
It was just it's like someone searched red color, and then he looks at the screen, and then the Illuminati song, the X-Files song plays in as he's zooming to the red squares. It's like the most random stuff ever, I would say. Let's see. I have some overlays here that shouldn't be here. It's all the randomness and I don't know. I have some problems with OBS. We're streaming through the OBS, and sometimes it just doesn't want to stream, and we had that problem in the very, very beginning of the stream. So that's what's up. That's why it was a failure. Anyways, Grand Warwick is here. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm good, man. It's my birthday, so...
Happy birthday!
I don't know why I'm here, but I'm good.
Oh my God. Happy birthday, man. How old are you now?
29.
29? Oh, fuck. You're pretty young, man.
Not really, though.
You're the youngest.
Once upon a time, I would have looked at 29 as pretty old in this industry.
I feel very old when you say 29. I feel very, very old.
52?
I'm 78.
Close. I like testing you to see if, like, while we're live, you've got the instant comebacks.
Yeah, I'm 30 something. I can't even remember.
Far out. What are you doing on your screen?
It's the creature that I'm painting.
This is like your mascot, yeah?
Yeah, it's my mascot. That's my second online identity that no one knows about.
Your cross-dressing one.
Yes. Jokes aside, no, that's one of the characters from the universe that I've created and I'm working on constantly and sort of like trying to get back to. I always end up just not having enough time to do any of those things.
This is a concept for a 3D sketch you're doing.
No, it's just like this is gonna be illustration, obviously.
Oh, right. So you've done this girl in 3D though, yeah?
No, but I might.
What?
I might want to have someone to do this.
I saw you do something in CG that was like that.
No, it might be something different.
Yeah, I swear it was.
Maybe
How do I find your...
Maybe you found someone doing fun art. Sorry.
Like...
That wouldn't be surprising.
Oh, just such a nerd putting drawings in your profile pictures on Facebook. What is that?
What are you saying? What?
It's like a potato with glasses.
Oh, yeah. So that stuff that was done by Alex Neonakis. She drew every person in the office when I was still at Naughty Dog. Or every single person from the concept art team, and I was a potato in that one. Just so you know.
I like her already.
Um,
So is that all you're doing? Because I'm doing some cool stuff on the lesson 6
yeah, I'm not doing
concept at the
anything
moment.
cool today.
Oh, really? That's why you're relying on me. He hit me
Yes.
up like 30 minutes beforehand.
No,
going,
I would
"Look,
I would do this if you weren't here. I would do this. That was already planned to do. So
I feel sorry for these people."
God damn you!
I said I'd
So
go in on-
offensive. People are like, "What? I like drawing. What are you saying? I like drawing pictures. You 3D nerd." Yeah, I had this character here, so I'm kind of using it in my. I'm using references, guys. I'm referencing my own images for this.
Alien
How
head?
about that? What are you doing, man? I'm curious. What are you doing? By the way,
You can
people.
share my screen, man, if you want.
Yeah, sure. Let me paint for a couple more minutes, and maybe we'll share your screen.
Yeah.
And then get back to.
Let them endure this for a bit, and then they can.
Yeah, I actually can
get on to some
start.
fun stuff.
What I can do is I'll give you a presenter.
Oh, what?
So you can start sharing, and at some moment I'll just switch it. Sounds good?
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
now I have 3 screens, so all my operations are on the right-hand side, and your screen is going to be on the left-hand side.
Too. They're not 4K though. No, I'm just working on some procedural stone shader. Like it's very, very early. Like I only started 20 minutes before the stream kicked in, but I'm trying to figure out a way to make like 100 stones really fast, and I think I've come up with a way. So it's cool.
All right.
I can show them some of the concepting I'm doing and stuff like that. How long are you going to be fucking clicking that stuff for, man? It is a joke at this point. You have been clicking that microwave. My friend's over at the moment. He's been clicking the fucking microwave for
He likes to annoy
10
you.
minutes now, just in and out of the microwave, over and over it goes.
Oh boy. Such an aggressive stream.
I know.
What's going on?
Because I haven't had any.
Dude, chill out.
Sleep.
Easy.
I have not slept since it's been my birthday.
Okay.
Okay.
Get some sleep. Why you're on the stream then?
Why I'm on the stream?
Why you're on the stream? Because you asked me. Because I asked you. that's why. Well, thanks for being here, though.
Yeah, no, it's always fun, man.
I really appreciate it.
Where
I really do.
That alpha, though?
We're sharing our screen, by the way, so we can start talking about. Yeah.
Oh, right, we are too. I'm just loading in. Well, I'm not trying to.
One thing I will say, as you're doing this, I'll just talk. I'll just ramble. By the way, people. By the way, great people, amazing people who are watching this, spending time with us, and being just awesome. Feel free to ask questions anytime. I'm gonna be reading them. I think Momo is there too, on the stream, looking up.
Oh.
So shout out to Momo.
I'm trying to get this stuff looking. Look, all right. So let me go back into Max. I'll show you where I'm at.
All right.
It's early. There's not really any maps loaded here apart from a diffuse. So it looks, I don't know, but like procedurally in Vray, this is all procedural, that diffuse map.
Mm-hmm.
So what you can do is on the edges of the stone, if you use a dirt map and invert it, you can create that like highlight on the edges. It gives it the dusty feel.
Right.
So that detail you're seeing here doesn't come from the actual geometry. It comes from the diffuse, that brightness. And having that brightness there, it gives more contrast to the pitted areas. So in the reflection filter, you can see this is procedural as well. That's just that's just generated based on the geometry. So it's like a cool trick you do. You go in here, in the diffuse slot, you've obviously got the edges being brighter. So in the reflection, you have 2 layers. The base is that same as the diffuse. It goes brighter on the edges. But then if you multiply over a dirt that's not inverted, so it's actually in the pits, you can kind of mask off and you create this like really nice transition.
Nice.
So, and it's all procedural. So no matter what brick I load in here, it will just automatically do that. So right now, I'm just going through the process of modeling a few of the stones because I'm trying to recreate this scene here. Oh, not this scene, but like I'm trying to recreate the shader and the geometry so that when I go and create my own temple, it's all procedural. I don't have to rely on any crazy texturing because there's just too many individual objects to do it by hand.
Are you trying to say
the
that?
concepts I was working on last night is here. So this is like I'm not a painter, you know what I mean? I can't do this stuff very well. But what I can do is I can block out the scene in 3D, then paint over it, really basic. So when I go and do the asset creation and stuff like that, the workflow's a little bit more streamlined for a scene this detailed.
Yeah, when you sent this to me, I was like, what is this bullshit?
So yeah, well, I mean, the key here is going to be making sure everything's of the same quality. Like,
right,
it's easier to do some things than others. You know, for example, the plants are going to be a lot harder than the stone. You know, in just like 15 minutes, and my max is saving here. I've been able to get something that would look all right, you know, as a starting point. But the plants still, you know, we're sitting here trying to figure out the best way to create them. I bought Speed Tree the other night. That was $1,000 hit to the wallet. That sucked. But hopefully I can do some cool stuff in there because we've obviously tons of different plants and stuff to put through. But one of the craziest things is, and I've been working on the main concept and blocking it out, and Dimitri has been doing some really crazy stuff. So I don't even know. I don't even know if I'm allowed to show this, but check this out. So this is something he's been working on. Unbelievable. It's all CG.
I'm gonna be considerate and not curse on the stream today.
You can curse at this image.
I'll just say, fuck off. No, it looks amazing.
It's going to be a cool project.
That's
so you can see once we get that level of detail, like imagine we've got logs and stuff being scattered around, crazy shit like that going on. For a scene this big, it's gonna, you know, it's gonna be pretty impressive. But right now, I'm just trying to figure out the best way to get the actual assets in the scene. So I've got stuff like mega scans up, like I've downloaded a few assets, and you know, there's some really cool stuff I can do. Like,
how are you using those plant stuff? I'm assuming you're building some kind of geometry to it, right? At least like a polygon or something.
Oh, you mean on this stuff here?
Yeah.
Oh, this is just scattered using Forest Pack.
But so what's scattered there?
Yeah, that's just scattered like anything else in Forest Pack. Like sometimes I scatter dust. You scatter trees, plants. There's no reason you can't scatter stuff like grass. And essentially moss is basically just grass. But
but the grass stuff is, I mean, when you get it from the mega scans, it's just a texture.
It's just a texture, but Dimitri has gone into Illustrator, generated a vector of the alpha map that they give you, and then turned that into geometry. So he's got all the planes there. Let me show you the source where he took this from. If I go, where is he?
I didn't think about doing it that way. See, that's why having you on the stream is the best thing ever.
God, we talk too much. Go up. Where is it?
That's fine. We can talk how much we want. This stream allows us to do whatever we want. I mean, within the boundaries of what's appropriate for Twitch itself. We have to obey Twitch rules, obviously. But a part of that, it's not like I'm gonna have a producer coming over and say, "Hey, Maciej, you cannot say that."
I could be that person for you.
You want to be that person for me?
Yeah.
All right.
I could manage you.
Yeah, please do. See how it goes.
So on my screen now, you can see that that's what they provide you. And then when you, obviously there's a huge amount of detail and color variation in all of those. Yeah. And because he's automatically generated the alpha for those, like geometry, it's so quick. All he's got to do is
you're right.
Detach
and it's super easy.
Yeah, detach the outlines, set the pivots so that when he scatters, they're all, you know, pivoting correctly. And then when you zoom in and you've just got tons of detail in there.
Damn, Daniel.
But this is a starting point. You meant to go in and create a whole bunch more variation in that.
Someone asked if Illuminati sounds gone. No, it's not. I'm just not having my soundboard today. The soundboard is gone, guys. It's gone for today only.
I guarantee you, if someone subscribes while I'm on here, he's going to use the soundboard.
I'll have to open up like YouTube, so only people who are watching the stream will see it. No, I've here's what I've done, and I wanted to kind of touch on that subject as you're doing this awesomeness, and I'll read you some questions too, because there's 2 of them popping up right there.
Yeah, sure.
So I used soundboard. So back in a couple of months ago, I bought iPad Pro, and I was so proud of myself. That's like the best thing ever. It ended up like pretty much any other iPad that I had, which was basically a device that I take when I'm going to take a shit, and that's pretty much it. Reading some news as I'm pooping, and it's just collecting dust. I was hoping to paint on it, and I hated it, dude. I hated it. It's a great device, but software-wise, it's a piece of shit. There's no good software there. I mean, some people like the Procreate, and like there's Danny Luvisi suggested another one, which was actually very close to Photoshop, but it wasn't Photoshop. You know what I mean? It's like when I learn, like let's say I pick up Vray, or look at what you're doing right now, right, and decide to pick up Zbrush.
Yeah.
I know that I can push it so far, and the time I've spent learning that is just gonna exponentially make my art better. Like it's just you know, it's no brainer that it's gonna happen. If I pick up ZBrush and start learning it and do what you're doing there, I mean, the stuff that I will be able to do with it to add to the arsenal of tools that I'm already using is going to be really, really good, right? It's the time spent, the ratio of time spent versus the benefits is great. Here's my issue with iPad. First issue is the way you the software, obviously, and it's like you have to relearn the software and get used to different habits just for the sake of doing the same thing that you've already been doing for years, which is already a waste of time. And the only benefit is that you can do it on your lap, and that's it. So I didn't like that idea personally. That's my personal opinions, by the way. Everyone can just ignore it. If you love iPad and it works for you, good for you, man. Keep working on it. I think from design point of view, it's nice because it's like light. You can carry around it everywhere. It has a great battery life. The way you charge Apple Pen is probably the most retarded thing that they've ever created. It sticks out from the iPad. It's just like ergonomics just went to hell, basically. But anyways, I didn't like it. So what I ended up doing with this was making a soundboard out of it. I got like this Boss Jock app, or I can't remember what it was called, and I used it as a soundboard. It was just sitting there to be once a week on a stream as a soundboard. So there we go. I sold it, so no soundboard now. I'm gonna use my iPhone next time. Someone mentioned pineapple.
I'll just explain before I go too far. Doing what I'm doing, just so that people, if they want to recreate this stuff themselves, they know what the hell I'm actually doing to get the results. So basically, I started out with just a flat piece of geometry I created in Max. And then from there, I needed a way to quickly figure out how to get brand new alphas that, because these are just flat stones, you know what I mean? It's going to be very obvious very quickly if I've got any repetitions anywhere. And so I was trying to sorts of other shit that I don't know how to do. And then I realized that I'd forgotten about the grab document tool inside of ZBrush, which basically generates a height map from the angle you're looking at. So using the Megascan assets as actual geometry, and if I just bring in, you can see this is they provide the actual scan data as well for you when you download the asset.
Yeah.
So, I've got a whole bunch of cool shit here that I can potentially turn into a whole bunch of faces that I could potentially turn into an alpha. So I can go from, say, where I got to
gonna play as you talk
from above.
Just gonna play something on the stream
like this, and I'll go alpha, grab document. Let me just actually make sure it's the right size.
So inconsiderate. You cannot hear this, but they do.
There you go.
It's gonna be so annoying.
That. Now I can go back to where is it? Here. And now I've just got a brand new alpha that's going to look completely different from the same rock, just at a slightly different angle. So I can go any time I want, just change the angle, and it's completely different. So I can very quickly, and if I go here and set this to drag rectangle, I can drag that geometry onto the surface. But you just, for each one, you need to adjust the intensity.
Yeah.
But then for all my stones now, you get results like that really quickly. Then on top of that, you need to add more detail. So actually, let me subdivide the geometry first. If I go out and say, now you see that detail is coming in really nicely. Just drag this out like so. Now I've got a new tile, but it doesn't have all the subtle stuff in it. So I've got a bunch of alphas that I bought off Gumroad. Let me see if I can find those on here. Rocks collection. This could be it. Nope, that's not it.
Do you know what's PPAP, by the way? Did it ever reach Australia?
What do you mean?
PPAP?
No, don't know what it is.
After the stream, just Google it. You will thank me later.
Okay. Now, in the chat, I've just pasted the link to the alphas I've bought here to create some of the subtle, more subtle effects. Because right now, this rock isn't damaged enough. And if I go back into, where's that reference image? If I go back here, you see there's larger forms being cut in, but then there's the subtle stuff on the flat surfaces that I don't have. So things like that, I can just, just put in tiny bits of detail, even drop so it's not too...
People are asking for you to say Zbrush again, your way, Australian way.
It's like those people who say it's called Maya.
Maya?
Used to piss me off a lot. And it was like, there was one guy who was like, dude, it's pronounced Maya. I was like, it's Maya. It's pronounced Maya. Like,
yeah, it's Maya. It's super simple.
That is from the Autodesk director himself. So you can shove it down. He's like, nah, man.
I have a question to Maudavoy, who is on chat. He posted a duet display. How different it is to Astropad? Because I tried using Astropad, by the way. So there's this app for iPad that you can basically plug to your Mac and use it as it's almost like it almost becomes like a tablet, like a Cintiq for you. The problem is just the pixelation that happens along the way. Like anytime you move, it just pixelates. It's like bad streaming. So that was pretty useless. I'm just curious if that duet display fixes that issue. But anyways, yeah, sorry, I interrupted you.
No, it's all good. I'm just going through that process now of like trying to figure out. See, the thing is, at this early stage,
dude, that's awesome. That's like super procedural.
Well, it's less. It's not as procedural, but it's
right.
Procedural in generating a new alpha, which is where the pain comes from.
Right.
In getting each and individual tile. Like, luckily, if I go in here into the 3D file, the main pillar is only going to be like 4 stones wide, and from the actual camera angle, if we go in where the scene's at now, these aren't going to be that massive. So I think I can. This is at the moment the scene. There's a lot of stuff in here, but it's just concepting. It's just repeating the same rock over and over. And once again, these are just rocks that I've purchased off this guy. What's his name? Weird. Gumroad doesn't buy 3D art resources. I don't even know who. I know who it is, but it doesn't have his name here. Either way, it's just these are just all preset assets that I've just dragged in and shifted around and moved into place, and it only looks good from that one camera angle.
Right.
If I go out into the scene, you can see it's just like, the camera's down here.
Yeah.
Camera's down here.
That's how you set up the shots all the time.
Yeah. It's quite big,
Yeah.
Coming all the way into the distance. Then I've got forest pack trees being scattered over the top. So inside of, all these trees back here are scattered correctly. I get to preview how the lighting's working in the scene. But essentially at this point, now we've just got to go start making assets just to get them in there. And it's hard because you think when you at this early stage, it might look cool. And then you realize when it's in the scene, it's like all of a sudden it doesn't really match the same vibe. Like the stone might look too clean and you've done it to 80 stones in a row. So it's a bit sketchy to redo everything. So that's why now I'm just experimenting. I'll just try out some different stuff. And this shade is just shitty. It doesn't look realistic, but it's showing that the model itself is good, but just the shader needs a lot of work. There's so much more I can do in the bump mapping and stuff like that. But yeah, that's just where I'm at now.
That's dope, dude. Looks pretty dope. Cannot wait. I mean, knowing how you approach this and how you work with shaders and textures, it is going to be sick. Sick, man. I'm just watching what you do instead of painting. So if anyone is expecting, if anyone is expecting that after you present your work, I'll switch back to my screen and have something new, you might be in for a surprise that there's nothing there.
It's just saving here. I saw some really cool reference from. I've been looking at all this substance stuff, and one of the guys, just one of my references, I don't even know who is it. It's one of those texture artists who use substance. Just the really nice composition with the way he's put the plants in. It's only games, it's only real time, but just I really like that balance between the rock and the leaves. Right. So you got to remember also, this is like a flat surface, and in my concept, there's not really much going on over the top, but these will be covered with moss. I will break down individual rocks and get some more rocks scattered in between these ones, just filling in gaps and stuff like that. But why is it not updating? I think my V-Ray's just crashed or something. Once again, I'm just always using nightlies, so. Load up. All right, it's taking its time.
So, what do you think about the substance? I mean, I know the strength of substance, but you gotta have the UVs, right?
You've got to have the UVs to bake out the maps. It's not really. I mean, you might not if it's not a tiled texture. If it's like unless it's if you're tiling bricks and stuff like that, you will need the UVs. But you could get away using triplanar mapping too if it was more just like a surface, like you wanted to tile like concrete bump mapping and stuff like that. But I was looking into it last night, and where is so many different pieces. Since you guys showed me Fusion, and I don't know if the guys who were on the stream ended up seeing the final result from me learning Fusion. Where is it here? Let me get up Fusion. I picked it up so quickly because of Curtis helping me out with those few things.
Grant is on that Fusion tit.
And
how much you love that software now?
Yeah, so there was the final thing I created. It took about a day in Fusion.
Yeah.
Like 10 or 12 hours of working on it to get that result. And now it's because I did it properly and because I could update and change everything. I didn't have to worry about doing it in that perfectly linear workflow. I got a bit creative with it. added in some new details. I just thought it was incredible that I could have this final piece of geometry and then go in and change all of the booleans and everything at the very end of the process. It was kind of scaring me a bit.
Worked out pretty well. I can tell you love it. Someone's asking.
Awesome.
Someone's asking, what's your system specs? There's a few other questions I'm gonna read in a second.
So, my system's quite old now. I've got a i7 4930K and two Titan Black video cards, the old ones, the old Titan X's.
Slow.
The slower ones. So it's my two cards now are the equivalent of one modern Titan video card.
That's still good though. I mean, still holds up. I mean, just to give it a testament that how good Fusion 360 is. You can do this amount of details and even more, and it's still gonna run really well. It's pretty rad. Another question was.
Now you can see that there's.
Let me see.
Where am I? Getting lost.
Someone asked if you tried using physical material in 2017, Max 2017, with RT 3.5. It actually works with
physical.
I don't know, physical material.
Waiting for image data, and then it's like Vray's dying. Why is it doing that on the stream?
It hates us.
Maybe.
It's still the beta, right? Or the dailies or nightlies?
I'm always working with the nightlies now.
Yeah.
So get this, in the current nightlies, I don't know if I showed you this.
You're always telling me there's some new feature, I want to kill you, and then you say like, just wait another day.
No, I'm going to show you. I'll show you. Hold on.
Yeah, I don't know, physical material. I guess it's like a standard physical or some kind of material that is native to Max, I would assume.
Yeah, maybe. I would suggest not using anything unless it's a V-Ray centric shader. You're not really. I don't know why you'd even be using anything that wasn't a V-Ray shader.
No idea.
Let me get rid of that. Far out these. I need a new computer so badly. For the person who said, what specs am I using? It doesn't really matter because I'm going to get a new system soon. No.
Someone asked if we could break down the process of texturing a model. What I mean is what passes do you generally need and how do you go about using them? Is there any order to follow?
Are you talking about reconstructing a beauty pass from like the V-Ray passes in here?
It might be that, or it might be the material itself. I would assume if he's asking texturing, then I would assume.
Yeah, you're talking about the maps required to set up a shader.
Right.
Look, I mean, you can get away with a lot of stuff just with reflection glossiness. Like, actually, the only mapped texture you need that I usually work with is the reflection glossiness. That to me is the most powerful map.
Yeah, I would agree.
That's where the detail comes through. All the other stuff like the diffuse is generally less important than the glossiness map.
Right. The question wasn't physical material. It was actually physical metalness, which I don't even know what that is.
Yeah. What do you mean, physical metalness? Let me check the.
It's like a new thing in 2017. I would guess it's like some kind of.
I'm assuming Max has possibly finally implemented a correct BRDF for metals.
Yeah.
V-Ray's
it's probably
had that ability now for 4 years. So,
Yeah. He mentioned that it works pretty well with V-Ray Advanced, but it doesn't work with RT. But I guess to your point, like you would never go out.
Is it just, what is it here? Like, let me go in and make. So we go in, we got all the V-Ray materials. Is it in the standard materials? Physical material. Yep. Yeah, so this is just the old. I don't know why they'd have support for this. I wonder what subsurface scattering algorithm it uses. Serial mode advanced.
It's a PBR workflow.
So you don't have control. Yeah.
Which includes metal mass texture, not
actually
specular.
ask for Chaos Group to implement something like this, like a visual Fresnel map, because it doesn't really have it. But you know, everything that I can see here, I can do in a V-Ray material. So there's no need for me to.
And I guess V-Ray material is better optimized for V-Ray, anyways.
Yeah, of course. So now with this stone, to get it back in, and I'll do some more work on the actual shader. It's tricky because I don't actually know how I want it to look yet. I don't know if I want it to look dusty and flat or if I want it to be a bit more shiny. So I'm just going to finish off this rock. See, once you've got all of them loaded, it's a bit easier. Oh yeah, you did sidetrack me while you were talking.
Yeah.
In the standard map, what I do is you can see how on the edges of the rock it looks a bit shitty. It doesn't really have the wear and tear on it. What you can do is mask off the edges. So I'll just, using my mouse because my tablet's broken, I'll just very roughly hand sketch in a mask.
What did you do to break your tablet?
Probably lost at Rocket League.
Oh boy.
We go here, we go down, mask this. Semi-serious joke. Oh, far out. You won't believe it. Once upon a time, right, my brother and I had just got a brand new TV so I could watch boxing on it. And we had it for about a month, and I lost a game of FIFA and kind of not like seriously threw the controller, but I was like, fuck this, and flicked the controller onto the ground, and it hit at what I can only describe as the most impossible angle of all time, because it bounced up off the corner of the controller into my beanbag chair and then flicked up and hit the screen like at a glancing angle. And it didn't make sense. You meant to, it broke the laws of physics because more energy came out of that than I put in. But anyway, it flipped up onto the screen and smashed the screen like brand new.
Perfect.
Oh my God.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
And we just sat there for maybe a minute staring at the
totally
crack,
baffled.
just saying nothing, just
what have you done? Whoa.
Wow. Okay, so I mask the edges off here, hold control and click outside the model to invert it. And then I'll go down into surface on the left, turn on noise, and the scale's always whacked out. So I'll make the scale bigger and then just start playing with some of the settings. Now, it's a bit tricky because you can't sometimes tell how it's going to look on the object, but know that if you want it to go in, I'm just going to raise the value. You can see by default it was minus. So I'm just going to go up on that and then just tweak some of the curves here to make it look more like rock. I'll just cut in little bits and pieces here and there. Doesn't have to be perfect. Do something like that. Hit OK. And then I'll just preview it. It might be too strong. Yes, it is. So I go back in, and on the strength, I just drop that down a little. Go OK. Apply it to the mesh. And now, depending on the result I'm after, it's just very quick. I can bring up the hard polish brush now and just harden off some. God, this mouse is so. Not the mouse, this Wacom.
Stop shitting on Wacom. Just because my Mobile Studio Pro, and I love it. And I say only positive things about Wacom. I'm joking.
Okay, see here, I'll just harden off the edge again. and maybe
we should do a review of that hardware. Like talk about it. There's this new Wacom. It's called Mobile Studio Pro. Did you see it? Have you seen it?
No.
It looks like it basically looks like Intuos, you know, but the surface is actual screen, and what's inside is actual computer. So I have basically 16-inch computer that is about maybe an inch thick, or even less than that. I would say like 2/4 or 3/4 of an inch thick, or maybe a half an inch. Difficult to say. It's pretty light. I would say it's like 3 or 4 pounds in weight. So it's like you can carry it. You're not gonna get super tired. But it's basically 16-inch 4K Cintiq with i7 6th generation, 3.3 gigs, 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gigs of SSD, and this one has the M1000M Quadro card in it, 4 gig. So I can easily run Max and Zbrush and pretty much anything on it. And you can fucking carry it everywhere. And it feels like a proper Cintiq. And it's touchscreen too, so I'm impressed so far. I have been using it for a day. I actually took some of my freelance work that I was doing on a computer. I was tired of sitting in the office. Just Dropbox that shit to my to that stuff and just sit on a couch and work there.
That's the way, man.
It's just amazing. I was like, what? What am I doing? What's going on with my life?
So much stuff up. Okay. So here's one of the diffuse textures taken directly from one of the assets. And I was going to use this as a starting point for the shading. So Megascans gives you all the different maps. You know, it gives you the diffuse, the reflection, and the glossiness. But because I'm making this shader from scratch and I want complete control over it, I'll just start with the diffuse. Now I can do that because they've already normalized it, so you can see there's no shadows or highlights in the diffuse. It's just raw. So that's why I put a hue and saturation on and desaturate it. Then I can go in with this curve. I'll just label each curve as I'm working. I say, call this glossiness. I'll call that glossiness, that curve. I'll go in, adjust it to how I want it, duplicate that, and then call this like reflection, disable the glossiness, and then just start working on the new curve. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm just going to bring this geometry in to, well, okay, anyway. I couldn't save because my computer had, let me save that. I'm just going to save it, close Fusion. I've got so much shit up. How much time do we have, by the way?
If we want to stick to about an hour, then maybe 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, okay, so I should have time to get this in and do some adjustments to the shader. I just got to close down, save the scene, load it up again. Max's crashed, V-Ray's crashed. So the goal here is I'm going to try and get that colored variation, like the moss look inside the rock. At the moment, mine is just way too, like just monotonous, the same color throughout. So
right on.
I might
so for whoever asked about the workflow, how you do textures, just watch the stream. It's basically that explains everything.
I'm not a texture artist. I don't do things perfectly.
Yeah.
But I do it enough where, like, I don't do things in an optimized way. You know, my workflow wouldn't fit into an organized production pipeline. But for an individual artist who's just trying to get an image out, this is a good way and it's a fast way of working. But it's very messy. You know, it's very
right.
It's not very procedural. It's just, I'm just testing stuff, basically. I'm trying to figure out the correct workflow for this project, whether or not I do it in Substance or if I just grind it out by doing it in Photoshop. or if there's some kind of other weird way of doing it procedurally in Vray where I don't even have to worry about any of this shit.
What's your experiences with Substance so far? Because I've seen a couple of my friends using it. I've seen some amazing results with it, obviously.
So I've got a guy coming on. Where is his stuff? It's Christopher Hodgson. Probably seen his stuff. I'm going to have him on my own live stream this weekend. I think, if not this week coming.
Okay.
So he's gonna be showing me some Substance stuff. Basically the same way you showed me Fusion. He's just going to get me rolling with that because he's done. I'm just trying to find his work. It's ridiculous. We'll go up. Bring this up here. So this is all Substance. The whole wall is all just, it's ridiculous.
Damn, Daniel. See, I don't have that fucking soundboard. So I'm going to just say it. Damn, Daniel. No, that's... I've seen this. I've seen this before. Yeah, it looks insanely good, man. Looks insanely good.
Network. Look at the shader network. I've got some networks out there that are pretty ridiculous, old school Octane shaders. This though just takes it to another level.
You can see it.
Crazy.
Amazing.
Holy shit. I don't even understand it. Like obviously these are input maps that he's put in, yeah? Like you put in basic inputs and then the software takes that and runs with it. That's my understanding of it. But am I right? Why are you laughing at me?
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at a comment from Maciej. Maciej, I can't fucking even spell it, that he made about my liver. Anyways, that was funny, dude. Yeah, it was only worth a sack of potatoes. I'm gonna say that. Anyway, sorry, Grant. That was just super funny.
Yeah. So this is all the stuff I'm interested in, like you know, all this procedural shading stuff. But I just don't know yet. I don't know basically the way I work with stuff is I just break it down into individual chunks. So I'll work on an asset in the scene where I've done the previous. You know, I've done the previous lighting. I just hide everything else and work on this solely. When I come in and work on the plants, I'll keep the HDR and the camera from the same point of view and then just do another round of refinement. And just slowly everything comes together and it's, you know, it's always the same quality because I've individually worked on each asset. So let me get this out now. Actually, I can close Max, I think. Yes. So easy to get distracted on the stream. Close this, decimate this. Easy, export that. That is brick 8. Max doesn't want to close because Vray, I think I've killed it because of the adaptive lights bug. So where is my Max? There it is. All sorts of stuff.
All the awesomeness. It's all good. It's all good. Let me switch to my screen for until you fix your shit. So people see what I'm doing. That's what's up. Just cleaning up that sketch a little bit. Working. I love working that way. I love working those images for Showtime. It's just they are super time consuming. They can be a bitch to work on because they take like so much time to get all the lines properly. Oh, I don't even want to tell. I have this image that I've done last time with one of the girls walking away with a bag of like cybernetic parts, and there's like a lot of smoke on the street, which basically entails that she basically killed some of the enemies and got some of the parts salvaged. That image, by the way, if I could print it human size on the 300 DPI, which I'm gonna do. It took me like forever because it's like everything you have to almost get hand drawn, you know? You're not relying on photo bashing or anything like that. So it takes a lot of time to get it done, but it's worth it because the result usually is very genuine. Now I'm trying to get used to Clip Paint Studio. I've been using this for that last image, but I've been painting it so long ago, I almost forgot how to use it.
So this isn't Photoshop. Is it Photoshop?
No, this is not a Photoshop. It's called Clip Studio Paint EX. A lot of comic artists are using it because, like, by default, it has panels that you can build. They're already there. It has like a lot of patterns that you can use. It has awesome way to do halftones from the end. Like, it has its own like halftone engine that works really, really well. And you can actually animate in that software too. I don't know how well the animations work here. And also, it's the only one that can emulate like pens and pencils really well.
Right, it does look like it. Go full screen, zoom in on that stuff.
Probably gonna see it soon. Especially pencils are. I mean, when you zoom out, it emulates really well. I mean, it's just like, I don't know. And it has a lazy mouse built in, which, like, for Photoshop, you need a plugin. I use Lazy Nezumi plugin for Photoshop to get that, especially for like line drawing. It's super, super handy. For regular drawing, not, but for line drawing, it's amazing. Because otherwise, everything is going to look very jittery. Someone asked me if are there any animes I were inspired by for my Showtime stuff? Yeah, of course. Akira. Any Otomo work. I mean, it just kind of speaks through my images. It's super inspired by Otomo.
Just got some stuff up on my screen now too, by the way, where I'm just blending.
Cool. Let me turn it on. Let me turn it on for you.
Just to show you how I'm getting some of that variation in.
Yeah.
To the map itself that I wanted from the reference.
It's like a 3D/2D stream.
So the beautiful thing is now they're giving 8K maps for their diffuse textures. Megascans are. So everything's really high res. You can utilize their unwrapped, surface textures just to blend in with your own. I'm up now, yeah? Yeah, right. So you can see turning it on and off just gives me some color variation like we get here. There's just little splotches of the moss coming through that tinted, the tinted color. I probably need to go in and add some darker areas to the surface. So I can, once again, I'm just going to search. I've got my Megascans 3D files over here. So I'll just go through them, take a look at the preview. It's not really what I'm after. Maybe it is. I could use this, you know what I mean? I can utilize this and...
That's from, what is that from? It's like a photo. Oh, that's the Megascans, right?
Yes, this is all Megascan stuff.
Yeah, I was asking because like the way the texture looks reminds me of like how photogrammetry works. Because that's what they do basically. They just go outside.
Photogrammetry.
Yeah, they just make a lot of photos. I wonder if they take like flashlight, like flashes and strobes.
They said they've automated the process.
Oh, they did?
Whatever you take from that, obviously they're not going to tell me the exact.
Yeah, of course they want to keep it a secret.
But they said they've automated it, so they can do a lot of stuff at once. So here, this is where I was just about to get to before the stream started, in terms of trying to vary up the diffuse texture a bit and darken it off too. Group these. Gives that variation. Then I don't even have this. This isn't even tiled because it's just experimental. So I'm just trying stuff out. I'll just save this to the desktop. And yeah, I'll just call it that, whatever. I don't even care. Load this up, bring up the...
Yeah, I got all the Japanese names in my screen from that asset store. It's all free.
So we go in here now. Inside of the V-Ray shader, like I was saying, I've got a dirt set up to catch automatically the inverted edges.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see I've got invert normal on. You've got the occluded color, which is white. And I'll bring up the...
Yeah. So unoccluded color is going to be that texture, right?
Yes, the unoccluded color will be the texture. So on the edges, it'll be white. And I'm going to go in later and add more detail to that also. I'll incorporate noise into that. So it's not white everywhere. It's, you know, sometimes dark on the edges. But it's going to start this rendering. Hopefully it doesn't crash or kill the box or anything like that. Because if it does, the stream's over. Just work.
Pray for it for not to crash.
Okay, so there you go. It's loading in. It's going to do its thing. Start working in real time. Just, yep. Go as slow as you want. Unbelievable. Come on.
Get a new PC,
This is a very
mate.
unoptimized scene, by the way. I've got to clean this up at this point. The only reason I haven't is just because I've been going all night. So at this point, I really should have gone in and created a test scene for materials that didn't have all the other shit. I don't even know what it's doing here. It could have just crashed potentially. But while that's doing that, there's always stuff you can do. So, you know, I could play Rocket League, or I could come in here and do some stuff. Always check back. No, still shit. So now over the top of this new diffuse, I'll just put like a hue and saturation and just get rid of it. What the hell? Oh, sorry, there's a group. Yeah, I'll delete that and I'll start working on the reflection glossiness map. Curve on that. Everything's a lot brighter than you think.
Mm-hmm.
So I can brighten that up. Move a point over here, and then I'll just start adding a couple more points to get that control. Because when I bring the gray value up, we lose some of the contrast in different areas. So I'll just shift it back over. And the subtle things like this with material creation make a massive difference. Because just adding a single point here and shifting that, you know, if the rock isn't looking realistic because the highest points of the reflectivity are too glossy, it can just throw everything off. Everything else might be perfect though. So I could go in and just clamp down on the highlights, whereas everything else stays the same. You know, I've got to factor that stuff in while I'm doing this. So and it's always brighter than you think, the glossiness map.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed. Anytime I do it, it's like, what is so bright?
And then the map still looks like it's dust. The shader still looks like it's dust. So now I'll save this off as just like an experimental. Just go down instead of albedo. Albedo is just diffuse. I'll call this glossy. Save that. Hopefully V-Ray. Nope, V-Ray has crashed. Unbelievable.
Yeah, for anyone who's watching this and you're like, why is V-Ray crashing so much? Grant is using a beta version of it. It's not the official release.
At the moment, it's like heavily, the stuff I'm testing is the stuff they're implementing. So it's not like I'm using a beta.
Yeah, it's all bugged and
stuff that's just been compiled recently. Like this stuff has been put in last night.
Yeah.
So that's why it's...
So don't be worried. V-Ray is very stable.
It is actually very stable. The stable version. But there's so much that has changed since the last stable version in terms of detailed shading workflows that it's quite exciting. But I didn't actually show you what I was going to show you. Finally, this is the first time I'll be able to...
Show me.
People will be able to see this
inside
of V-Ray.
I want to be excited.
Let me bring up a very simple test scene. Just to show you. Load this, blah, blah, blah. It's all good. Whoops. Come on. Active shade. God, my computer just needs a restart, really. T, just setting it up to be GPU so you can see that. And just set this rendering. Nothing's going to show. Just let it load. Okay, there you go. Pick a Vray material here. Come on. Did that just not do? Oh, okay. Why is it not? It's just the material editor's not updating. Okay, that's all good. Right. Okay, so we got a sphere here, right? That's reflective, all good. Bring up production. Just checking something here. Yep, that's all good. Come on. Okay, check this out. So this is Vray RT now.
Mm-hmm.
Turn on bloom and glare.
It's working real time. Finally.
Working real time. Finally.
Hell yeah.
And unlike Octane, you've got mask intensity. So I can put the intensity down to 1. Now, if I increase that effect, it's only doing it where the bright spots are. You don't have that control in the other software. On top of that, you can input your own map. Like, you've always got the same control you always did, but for those who don't know, if I go from image here and load up HDR, Vray actually has a filtering tool. Go to mastering Vray, old works. Whoops, go back. Load this map up. See the rainbow highlight you get?
Uh-huh.
On the, you put the mask on. 2.5.
It does have it, Octane.
But it's not the same.
That's exciting, though. That feature was something that was missing here.
So because this has only just been implemented, there's things that it doesn't do at the moment, like they forgot to hard code in camera changes into the automatic updating of the result. So I can adjust the camera. It's not taking that into account until other things happen. Like, you know, there's obviously stuff happening in the diffuse here, but it's not updating. So they did that to potentially save time on calculations, but it's kind of defeats the purpose. So in the next version, they'll implement that so that as I'm rotating here in this viewport, you're seeing the effect take place. You know,
nice.
They don't. At the moment, they've got the result in its own render element, so it doesn't update the same as the main render element. But I thought that was pretty cool because now, like, we can. That was the last thing that was really killing a lot of the realism inside of Vray, and sometimes just a slight camera angle or tweak can totally change how this glare and stuff behaves. So to have it real time is massive. You know, it's finally we've got it, and it works really well. It's really fast, and if you want to go in and create your own filter, I can go in down here, Chaos Group, Vray Advanced Tools, Filter Generator Tool. Go in here, apply special, and leave that.
Yeah, it has that awesome stuff
Like
there,
halo in.
which Octane doesn't have.
Special.
There's more options, obviously. In the meantime, I'm gonna answer some questions. So someone asked if I used Krita. It's like this Krita. I haven't tried it. I'll look into it because it looks interesting. Another one was, as a general rule, you build your glossy reflection map from your diffuse map, and that's what you have shown. So I would say yes, unless it's like something very specifically different. It depends, actually, because you might actually want to use different maps, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it depends on it's per shader, I would say.
That map I just generated now is
it's awesome. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, you cannot do that in Octane. No way. That's awesome. That's
yeah. Go down on the strength.
Sorry.
Now you get that really cool.
Yeah, man. Like a shitty camera photo.
Yeah.
Will the new Vray be, or the updates they're making, be more welcoming to GPU rendering? As you can see, yes.
Absolutely. It's basically been a full-time job for me at the moment, trying to figure out how to bug test Vray so that these things can finally be implemented. Now, I've said, I asked for not just having the halos inside of the RT window, but I've also asked for a few UI changes. So potentially, one of the things we can't do now, right, is work in full screen mode. Mm-hmm. So at the moment, things are getting pushed so heavily more towards that photography workflow. Everything's real time. Shaders are becoming more procedural. We're getting more and more assets to download and put in scenes. So it's becoming less about the asset creation and more about just the final image. So if you're a guy starting out, definitely think of it from a photographic point of view, because that's the direction these apps are going to go. So I've suggested a full screen mode with some tools, visible with like hotkeys to turn on and off. But essentially, you just be able to work like a photo. You get your camera angle right. You start going in and loading in your color corrections.
That's how I've been using it so far on the 3.5. I use it as a camera and lighting and everything. I try to do it as physically accurate. So I look through the settings of the camera. It's good to just get even the cheapest DSLR where you have manual control over exposure, which means shutter speed and f-stops and all that stuff. ISO, exposure compensation, manual control over those four. It doesn't have to be actually DSLR. There's a lot of I think there are even point and shoot cameras that allow you to do that. But anything that gives you absolute manual control over exposure, and just experiment with that, learn how it works, because then you bring it to Vray and it's just it's the same thing. Having that understanding, then you can have basically a full control. If you work with scale, you're gonna have a full control over exposure, over depth of field, over the way bokeh looks and behaves, and depth of field behaves, and all that stuff that gonna make it look very cinematic.
I'll just load in a different HDR products.
I love it.
Oh no, it's definitely for me now becoming more like photography.
It's good that you started to started picking up on this.
Yes, absolutely. It's the best thing that I could have done, I think.
Yeah. I took I've been trying photography before, very very amateur like, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
But I took
just helps.
I took Genius class over at Learn Squared, artistic photography class. And dude, it's the organizing your own photo shoot, man, it just makes it completely different experience. You start to think about lighting way different than before. There's no, you cannot even compare. Like the way photographers think about lighting when you have to set up strobes.
Yep.
And or even like if you're filming, the way you set up hot lights, it's just the moment you know how it's all done, it's like a game changer.
I'm just saving out a different one here.
I recommend that class, by the way, guys. Of course I do. It's Learn Squared after all.
Sharp and crisp, the halo.
What's up?
Oh, no, I was just showing the difference between, in the filtering tool, you know, you can generate like tiny, smaller highlights.
By the way, anyone who's looking at, sorry, I'm just a bad host, but I'm looking at what you're showing, and just like if you're just glancing at it, like even if you're looking at it and not thinking, it looks like a photo. It's just like there's what, you know what I mean? The way Vray calculates GI and reflections, I haven't seen any other engine doing that.
Geometry, no, it's good. It's good. I mean, every engine right nowadays, like FStorm, Octane, it can give you a photoreal result. It's that's not the issue. It's when you come down to doing a lot of stuff in an automated way, and when you want that extra control over certain things, that's when every single other render engine I've used breaks down. It's always on the little stuff. But if I open up FStorm right now, I could give you a very similar looking scene, no matter what. But it's just, it's always just the little shader controls. And on top of that, it's because they actually listen to what you want and implement it daily.
Yeah.
You know, now they're doing stuff. It's like, can we maybe have this tweet? Next nightly, it's there. Where am I going to get that anywhere else? I'm just looking now where to.
That's awesome that they are listening to your feedback that way. Is it only you, or there's other people involved?
No, of course there's other people, of course. But
just to give the shout out to everyone who's doing it. Good job. Keep doing this.
Okay, so I've just brought in the Terminator model.
Mm-hmm.
It's the head, and now it's going slow. It's all good, but you'll see with the lens flares. Oh my god. I do have a million things up here, and this is in the wrong. Oh, get there finally. Maybe it's because far out. I think I need to pause this. Why is that doing that? It's a heavy shader, by the way, this Terminator shader.
Oh, yeah. I from what I saw, yeah, it's insane.
When Blagavest, the guy who works on Vray RT, doing some of these changes and tweaks, he's like, dude, how many dirt maps can you have in one shader? It's a joke. Like, it's a fucking joke. You do everything with dirt maps. Now,
I tried that 3-planar texturing method. It's amazing, man. Those, you know, so he's basically like ignoring UVs.
Okay, so now I need to make a V-Ray material here. Yes. Just assign it there.
I need to organize the music for this show. Like when we talk, or whenever I talk or have guests, just have some like nice tune in the background. What do you guys say? What do you guys think? What is the chat thinking about music, huh? I want to know. By the way, the webcam is coming soon too. I already have it set up. It's just my face looks like shit today, so I'm not gonna use it today.
There the little highlights are. So it just gives it that, you know, I can't believe that they didn't think that glare and bloom, because it just lacks the depth. You add the effect in, it just gives it that pop. Now, if that colored halo is too strong in the filter generation tool, I'm going to make that smaller there. Bring it in like that. Just export it out over the top.
Yeah, anyone who's asking, you should take Grant's course. That's why he's here. We're here to promote him. He's kind enough to join the stream. We're going to be kind enough to return a favor and tell, if you want to learn Vray, that's the only person you should be looking at. Seriously.
Now, you get some of that stuff in there. You know, you get some of the small colored highlight, but it's much more subtle.
He's so deep into that whole thing that he's not even listening to what I say.
Yeah. Undo that. No, I mean, I'd appreciate it, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. I'm sure most of the people know.
We're all friends here.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no, guys, there's, how to put it? If you guys would talk about, I don't know, some shady ass school that rips students for money and deliver shitty education, and you end up working in McDonald's afterwards because you've learned nothing, then I would say it's a conflict of interest. But when you're talking about, you know, guys like Grant or guys over at Brainstorm or my buddy Steve Jung, they used to have a school called Red Engine, even CDA, a Concept Design Academy that is run by Kevin Chen. Those are locations where you have professionals that work in the industry, are the best at what they do, and they try to teach you exactly that. So you cannot go wrong. So, but if you want to have it convenient and you don't want to be in location, you can always pick Learn Squared classes. I'm joking. Anyways.
Yeah, that's basically what I wanted to show you. There's also inside of Vray RT now GPU. I don't even know if this is worth. I won't show you.
Dude, everything is worth. For me, everything is worth. I'm genuinely excited.
Where was that? I sent you something on Facebook, and then I didn't actually have it on my computer. So I was trying to figure out how that happened. Where was it? You know those tests I showed you of... Yeah, here we go. Got it. So I was testing out forest color support in Vray RT GPU. So this has got, like, it's subtle, the difference between the plants, but I was brute force testing Vray RT to see how many different plants it could handle, knowing that in this scene I'm going to have to scatter like thousands of plants. I wanted it to support it. So it's crazy. It's working now.
Oh boy.
It'll be the only RT engine to support that. Basically, it's a feature inside a Forest Pack. Where do I go down?
So how does the Forest Pack is just basically a scatter engine, right?
It's just a scatter engine. So okay. I go down here, I2, Forest, click the surface I want to scatter on, go into the tool, just give it a second. It'll start with a default plane, and go to Custom Object and select the sphere. Then in the distribution, I can just go down here till I've got a few different spheres. If I go into Active Shade and render this, just give it a second. Now these are scattered instances, right? And in other engines like Octane, you don't have control over the individual instances color. They've got things like random color nodes, but that's only for the element itself. So I can go into the diffuse here, put a forest color map, you see here. Now it doesn't have support yet for the tint tool, but that's coming. So in the maybe the next version, but what I can do is I can just assign this shader. I have to assign it in here, I think. And there you go.
This is amazing.
So eventually it's going to support the tint override. That's where the power comes from. That's the difference between other engines. But it's awesome, you know. Now for all my plants in the scene, I can do the previews with RT GPU. and get the same result as the production renderer. Whereas before I would have scattered all the plants and this forest color map wouldn't have worked. So I could have done all of the work in production and none of it would have translated over to RTGPU. Now it's getting so close.
Yeah. I'm super happy to see all and hear all that. It's amazing, dude.
Yeah, that's basically where we're at here with some of the features. I did want to implement chromatic aberration into the glare and bloom. That'd be nice if we could offset the image based on the intensity, because that's where that stuff comes in, you know. But if I go into let me just load this up. You know, in 3D, when people add chromatic aberration to the image, they always do it wrong, it seems. So what I'll do is I'll duplicate the layer and apply the chromatic aberration in one of the passes. I'll go into, say, the red pass and just select that. Now I can do like a transform warp on it. And you see as I warp that layer, it's giving that tinted edge. So I'll go in, and this is just really rough. Just pull this stuff out.
I'm learning like Photoshop from you.
Pull that stuff out. Now I've got two layers, one with the chromatic aberration and one without. Now I'll duplicate that same layer again. This time I will, where did that go? Ah, sorry, I duplicated the wrong pass. I'll duplicate that again. This time I'll desaturate it and then use something like this as a mask for where that layer is being blended in. So if I only want the chromatic aberration to come around the highlights, I can just drop this off like so. Like that. I'm going to put a slight blur on this map, on this mask, like so. I'm going to copy that layer, put a mask on and paste it in, and now the chromatic aberration is only coming in the highlight area, in the brighter areas. But this is just really rough, you know what I mean? But what it does is it prevents that effect being blasted throughout the whole image. You know, when people make that mistake where it's just like so overdone, you just want really subtle stuff up close like that, you know, where it's just offsetting the color a little bit. Because photographers try and get that stuff out of images, but you just want a small amount of it in there.
But we're CG artists. We're retarded. We want to put it back.
I've got control over the mask.
We're all Mr. Concept Art, guys. We're all Mr. Concept Art. What was the question? Would you recommend for the start of using Vray to work with Slate or Classic mode? I would say Slate. I mean, Classic is obviously easier. But
these days, I would say Slate.
Yeah,
I know both, so it's the same to me.
It's
but I sometimes
much more robust.
Yeah. I would highly suggest working in Slate.
Yeah, you know what? Every single thing you add is a node that you just connect to one another. So you're gonna have a node that is a bitmap, and you connect it to, like, you're plugging it to where the shader is as a bitmap, and then you don't have to copy paste and do like weird shit. You just drag another cable to the same node and say like, oh, I want this bitmap to also be a bump map, you know, and you just drag it. You don't have to do like weird operations, and you can use the same textures in different places. And then let's imagine that for whatever reason you want to change the texture to like 7 or 8 nodes that you've already created. If they're all connected to the one node, it's super easy, super straightforward. So
super easy to see where everything is in the scene. You know, it doesn't matter if shaders get complicated.
Yeah.
But you just got to look at stuff like this and just piece it together.
Exactly.
Someone asked if screen up, do I?
Yeah, you still have your screen up.
Yeah, I do. Okay, good. I was joking, by the way. This is a scene. This is the shader node tree for my Iron Man in Octane. So this was ridiculous. You know, this is like some of these nodes going into each other. It's just a giant mess.
Yeah, it's messy as fuck.
I couldn't do that. Unless I was using Slate.
Yeah, but you see, like this in Vray would be much easier because you have the blend material, right?
Yes, absolutely. So then the same, I don't have the file here, but the same exact shader tree in Vray looked like 5 times less detailed.
Yeah.
Because
All
I
right, dude.
wasn't for the yeah, all good. Let's do it. Wrap it up.
Yeah, sorry. See, I'm the terrible host. It's also, I think it's the delay.
No, I mean, it's good. I was ready. I was ready to pack it up.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
I just didn't want to be rude.
No, all good, man. All good. Let's
Awesome.
wrap it up.
All right, let's wrap it up, guys. We've been going on for about an hour and a half, actually.
Nice.
Dude, thanks for joining the stream, because otherwise I would be just talking to myself.
No worries.
I didn't even have my soundboard today, so it would be pretty sad stream.
It's kind of an empty stream.
It was like, I'm lonely. Super sad and lonely.
Al, I did a stream the other night after doing the one with you and Curtis, and I was like, this sucks. Like, this is boring as fuck. I need something exciting. So, yeah, always happy to go on them.
In some cases, like if you ever do it during the week, just hit me up because I might have time. Weekends is usually my family time, so it'll be much harder.
The difference is I do this full time, So if I want to stream at 4 a.m. in the morning or 4 in the day, it makes no difference to me. I just sleep early or later. You're doing like 15 other things on top of the school stuff. So
yeah, I do, kind of do, which is
it's all good.
Which is something I'm trying to get rid of. Next year is going to be much easier, actually. So.
Anyway, go like my Facebook page so you can keep up to date with the updates on this.
Yeah, paste it on the
because it's going to get pretty crazy.
Yeah, paste it on the chat and.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, go like it, follow it, go sign up for Grant's class. I'm telling you, like I started using Vray because of you, or actually because of Gavril, but then I found your stuff. He just told me to use it, but it was just like a shitty tutorials everywhere, and I saw your stuff.
It's very exciting times now because they're getting very close to it being the best RT engine in all aspects, not just a couple. They're working on the responsiveness so that it will be fast. Because from a technical point of view, RT is faster than Octane and F-Storm. Like apples to apples, if you're comparing the exact same scene in terms of the way it is optimizing ray bounces, it is the best. The last I checked, about 6 months ago, it was the fastest. The issue though was little things, viewport responsiveness, features not being supported. Now those things are coming round. There's really no, apart from the price, there's really going to be no reason not. Yeah,
price is still steep.
Because now you got to remember also in Vray, I haven't touched optimization in like a year. All year I haven't really bothered with it because it's now handled automatically, or you're working in real time, or even in the production renderer I just set it to go over here. Even the production renderer now, I don't even bother with any of the settings I used to explain. I just leave Vray at default because it's doing all the optimization for you.
Yeah, I remember you used to when I was taking your class, you would go through like all the optimization, and then
I hated doing that. And I hated explaining it because I knew people watching were going to be like, "What the how does all this work?" They're just looking at a bunch of buttons. They don't know how they link to each other or any of that shit. Now, I don't touch any of this stuff. I don't really touch the UI of Vray anymore. It's all in the frame buffer. It's all in the materials, and it's all in the camera. It's all this optimization stuff is gone. Occasionally, you might use features like override, stuff like that. And for that type of stuff, I'm going to suggest having the ability to, if they implement a new UI, having the ability to maybe dock features you want directly into the UI so that you can take them from here and work with them directly in the frame buffer without worrying about this shit. It's just the camera, the materials, and the objects.
Awesome.
Cool,
dude. All right, let's wrap it up.
No worries, man.
No, for real. I'm gonna get back to work for the rest of the night. Probably not sleep tonight.
Good luck, man.
We'll see. It's not gonna be hard. I'm gonna take that seriously, guys. I think I'm gonna do a review, but I already tried it today, and I worked with some of the client work on it, and it's just amazing because I have like those. I have that Logitech Mini Bluetooth keyboard, right? It's like super small. It's smaller than an iPad mini, I think. And I just connected to this, and I have like my setup. Screen is 4K. You can see everything. It's large enough so you can work with it. Obviously, you're not gonna have the comfort of having 20 screens around you, but you can sit, with your ass butt naked on a couch and fart in it and still work.
I think the thing just crashed, bro.
No, they can hear us.
Yeah, right. Okay. All right, guys. I'll catch you later.
I had to end up talking about farts, obviously. Anyways, guys, thanks for joining us. And Grant's already gone, and I'm gonna shut down this stream now. I guess next one's gonna be next Thursday. It's gonna be last stream before the holiday break. So when that happens, then I'll send some wishes for everyone who decides to join. Thanks for being here, guys. And next time I'll have that sweet soundboard with me. So, all right, peace.